dick off, like one of those like where you're sweating. I remember I showed up at the club and the bar and the woman behind the bar was like, someone's got to replace the urinal cakes in the bathroom. Like she said it to me, and I was like, oh, okay. Like I didn't realize she was asking me to do that. And I was like, oh yeah, someone should do that. And she's like, will you? And I was like, I'm headlining the weekend. And she goes, and she was like, she's like, so no? And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And she goes, well, I'm a woman, I can't
you have to
do
take
it.
them out,
Yeah,
put the new ones
put
in.
the new ones in. I was like, that's a bad look for your club, by the way. If I'm like lurking behind the fucking customers holding urinal cakes, you know, that's like you don't look good.
What is a urinal cake purpose? What's the purpose?
To soak urine up? I don't know. What
does
is
it like help the smell?
Probably.
Because they have a smell to them, right?
Probably.
So do they run bad? Like, why were you replacing them?
Do they run bad?
That's
like a great one-liner. Yeah. Are they going to go bad? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it was crazy. I remember bombing so fucking hard, and they had a giant poster. Like, you know the sweats? Like, you get those sweats where you're like, I'm like in the movies sweating, bombing. Mm-hmm. And they're drinking Long Island iced teas. I can't connect to Long Island iced tea drinkers because you're not drinking for the pleasure of it. You're drinking to like escape life. Like that's a bad drunk. That's like 5 different liquors in one, you know? So I'm bombing my dick off. I get off stage. I see a giant poster of this magician. Is it like the classic magician headshot where he's like holding 2 doves? And I was like, all right, what? This is crazy. And then I look to my right. He's at the bar. He was at the show. So it felt like magic. I was like, all right, let me talk to this guy. And he's like, man, you fucking sucked. Like, that was terrible. That was so bad. And I was like, he's like, I mean, you're funny, but like, that was not a good show. And I was like, oh yeah. And he's like, I saw you on Conan once. Like, we should go out. I'll show you the real Virginia Beach. And I was like, I'm like, what the real Virginia Beach? Like, all right. He's like, I'm going to show you the Virginia Beach no one talks about. So then he just takes me to a bar next door. And I was like, all right, we're in a bar. There's like a long, by the way, it's like I'm like, I could have found this fucking bar. This is not entertaining to me. Long line. I was like, I don't wait online. He's like, we're not waiting online. So we just start cutting the line. He's giving everyone the finger. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? You know? And we end up in, the bouncer is like, he just says to the guy's name is Stu. And he goes, not tonight, Stu. First thing the bouncer says to him, so I'm like, this guy's a problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then he goes, you better let us in or else. And the guy just let us in. We get fucking, he's one of those like drunks who's just like buying, you ever just out with someone where they're just buying every stranger a drink?
Yeah.
My favorite type of drunk.
Yeah.
He's doing he starts doing magic at the bar. And he's good, so people are applauding after I'm like, this guy's fucking incredible. It was like it's one of those nights where you're like, this dude.
So it's like a show.
It was a show. He grabbed one of the women and starts making out with her. Out of nowhere. And then he just let her go, and he's like, we're going to a strip club. I went to a fucking strip club with this guy. That's not my scene, but I was like, fuck it, I'll go up, you know.
Yeah.
We did it up.
I used to work at this club when I was coming up called Joker's Wild in New Haven, Connecticut.
I think that was a front.
It was run by the mob.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know about it?
I played there.
Oh, yeah.
Best pizza in the country.
The guy who was running it was a straight up gangster.
Yeah.
And one time, I don't remember what happened. I think it was an audience member mouthed off to him or something. He took off his shoe and beat the guy's face in with his shoe. So splattering blood all over the place. So he's got the heel of his shoe, and he's smacking this guy in the face, and there's fucking blood all over his collar and everything.
Damn.
And the show went on. The show kept going.
Damn.
He had to take off. The cops came. He fucking jetted out of there. I never got paid. And then I tried to come back. I came back like I was back there again in a few weeks, and I was like, hey, man, you still owe me money. And he gave me like a small percentage of the money, like 40, 50% of the money. And I go, well, where's the rest of it? He goes, you should be happy you got that.
Isn't it funny that this is like the only career where that happens? I remember I did that gig once, and my brother was doing a clerkship in New Haven. He's a lawyer, and he brought the judge with him. And I was like, don't bring this classy woman to see me at Joker's Wild, please. Please don't bring her. And it was just like me like dealing with hecklers the whole fucking
Animals
show.
In that place.
Animals. But I mean, that pizza in New Haven, I think, is the best pizza in the country, like Pepe's and all those spots.
Oh, they got great pizza.
It's next level pizza.
New Haven's a weird spot, too, because like Yale's there.
I know.
You know, so, but.
Well, that's Connecticut, though.
But
That's
it doesn't
all
seem to
Connecticut.
have any impact on the culture. You know, like if you're around Harvard Square in Cambridge, it clearly Harvard has influenced the culture.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of like very brilliant people and there's a lot of bookstores and it's like people are smart as shit. Not New Haven. There's something about New Haven itself is like a gritty, fucking down and grimy city when it comes to like stand up and the people that come, because they come from all the surrounding areas.
Exactly. Well, it's
too.
Connecticut, right?
Yeah.
It's all of Connecticut is like, I mean, Bridgeport's one of the worst cities in the country. I mean,
Yeah.
have you been to Bridgeport, Connecticut?
One of my best friends lived there.
It's fucking
Forever.
crazy.
He just moved recently. Shout out to Tommy Jr.
I did a gig there once, and I got chased off stage.
Oh, Jesus.
I got chased off. I remember these guys met me in New York, and I was young, so I was like, man, oh my God, the idea to make fucking whatever it was, like $1,000 on a Wednesday. I was like, oh my God, of course, yeah. So they come to see me. They're like, we want to scout you out first. So they saw me at Eastville Comedy Club and like East 4th Street on a Saturday, and I couldn't have had a better set. It was one of those where I'm like, when lightning strikes in that room. And they were like, well, if you did this well here, you'll do even better in Bridgeport. I'm like, that's not how it works, by the way. So I get there, and this one guy, they're like, all right, well, this guy's the muscle. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means. The muscle? I was like, all right, hey, muscle, whatever. And we're getting drunk, and they're like, we can't wait to have you there. And they kept calling this guy the muscle. And I'm like, I don't know why he's called the muscle. And then I do the gig in Bridgeport, and we're having pizza before, and there's a basketball game on. We're watching basketball in the pizza shop, and he's like, I was telling some story, and he goes, yeah, it's just like when I did 2.5 years in the clink for selling coke. And I was like, what does that have to do with what I was talking about? He's like, I don't know. And I was like, is he fucking with me? I can't tell if he's fucking with me. So I remember doing the gig, and I'm kind of just doing okay. There's like a guy in the front row. He won't shut the fuck up. It's one of those where I'm like, I've put him down every clever way possible. It was a beautiful venue too. It's called the Bijou Theater, which is like they play like Casablanca in that place. This is where I'm doing comedy, you know? They put like old school movies in there. And I'm just trying to survive. I'm like 25 minutes in, like putting this guy down. He keeps coming. I'm just like, I'm out of clever shit to say. Like, you're ruining the show. And finally, I'm like, you fucking Neanderthal dumb fuck. Shut the fuck up. And then he stood up, and I was like, that's the biggest man I've ever seen. He's like 6'6" and built like a linebacker. And I'm like, I'm going to get the shit kicked out of me. God damn it. So he starts rushing the stage, and I'm like, well, someone's going to stop him. No one stops him. He gets on stage. I was like, fuck this shit. I run off stage, and I'm in the back of the room, and people are booing. I just hear booing. I'm like, why are they fucking booing me? And then I lock the door to the green room. This woman runs in with me before I lock it, and she's like, what are you doing? Like, you can't do that. I'm like, what, you want me to just get the shit kicked out of me? And she's like, you can't. That's very unprofessional to walk off stage. I'm like, unprofessional? Like, there's no security here. I'm not just gonna like, get my ass kicked. And she's like, fuck, no, you got to get back out there. And I was like, fuck you, fuck this city. And they're booing so loud when I say that. I'm holding a cordless mic. They hear everything I'm saying to her. I sound like the biggest coward. I am hated in Bridgeport right now. They're booing the shit out of me. 8 minutes of the longest 8 minutes of my life. He finally leaves, and I went back out and did the last 30 minutes to fucking silence.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.